What is up, everybody? Welcome in today to a wonderful adventure into the bunker. I'm your host, Steve, also known as the CRT Wizard, and today I have quite the CRT treat lined up for you. That is a live restoration of the Sony KV-35V36. That is a 1998 consumer-grade Trinitron television that Sony made and manufactured, and it's a beautiful TV. But we're going to go ahead and start with a long process of restoring this set so that we could get down the line to installing a brand new RGB kit in this lovely set, all of which shall be documented here on this lovely channel. Now, do me a favor, if you have not already, please drop a like for us, everybody. Drop a like over there on the lovely like counter so that YouTube will let everybody know we are live. And I'm just going to check things out, make sure things are looking good on the readouts. We have everything looking squared away. And what I've got for you is the first set of 3 boards. Now, before I get jumping into this amazing repair, let me tell you a couple of family stories as we get everything ready here and we get things going, get cozy, and as we let the tension build, what should I say here? Let's keep things a little interesting. So, what have I done? Well, I made a mistake a couple times this week. First off, check out this massive drink. Right? Yeah. So dad mistake number 1 was accidentally ordering a fake Stanley, because apparently an 8-year-old girl could never be caught dead with a fake Stanley cup to drink out of, even though it's a third the price with no logo on it. Doesn't matter. So that was my mistake, funny enough. So now I have this big, lovely, skin-hued, colored cup to drink from today, thanks to that mistake. And my son is on the track team. He's in middle school. And he, somehow, I had turned in a lot of things to the Goodwill, our thrift store, spring cleaning, you know. And as I did that, I accidentally donated his track jersey. So lovely dad is on a roll here this week, and I had to pay the school $30 for that track jersey. So anyway, Make a quick little note of my confusion. I know, right? Just read Stanley and Charlotte. It's a mute point, Rob Cat. The gal doesn't care. Anyway, thank you, everybody. A lot of people here in the chat. I really appreciate it. Drop a like again if you haven't already. It does help. It does help. Actually, even if you're watching a playback. What else is going on? Yeah. Hey, Race. What's up? Anyway, again, I'm working on this. The ultimate goal is to get this thing. I knew there was an announcement. It's just drawing a blank in my head, and I just remembered it. This is great. I have a big announcement that I'm going to drop here exclusively right now to all you lovely RetroTech people right off the bat. Everybody who gets in here. First, I got a super chat here from Jake is way black. Thank you, Jake, for the $10 super chat. Awesome. He says, hey, good morning. I have been using that PVM 1340 nonstop since it showed up. Talk about a life-changing experience. I'm still blown away with the picture quality. Thanks again for everything, Steve. Awesome. That's so great to hear. I was so nervous. I had to send that thing. Sometimes you get these smaller CRTs and you put them on U-Ship, and they're going across the country, and they don't always get picked up for shipping, and that's what happened with Jake's. So we had to ship it actually through FedEx. Now, thankfully, I had a nice big box that I could pack it in. And hey, Belmont, awesome. Yeah, Extron Crosspoint, no audio. Oh, that's fun. Extrons are always fun. Hey, time. Yeah, so the Jake bought the 1340, which had been restored on some live episodes a while back, and we also did the audio modification. And heck, I believe we even did a CRT tube tester on that months ago on a live stream, and the tube was just absolutely perfect on it. What's up, Coaster? Awesome. Ronnie, what's up? Yeah, so the big announcement here. Look, here's the big announcement. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys. Let me see. Here's the announcement. Breaking news. I've made a deal to actually have a panel this year at the Retro World Expo. I don't even believe the Retro World Expo has released this information yet, but this is something that behind the scenes we've been working on for, I'd say, literally just this week. So it's Thursday. I think we've been talking back and forth, but here it is. Let me show you this right here in lovely Hartford, Connecticut. Everybody loves Hartford, Connecticut, right? Connecticut, anyone? Anyway, I will be there hosting a panel. I haven't fully decided what the panel will be, but it shall be Saturday, August 24th, I believe. Yes, I will not be doing it Friday. It'll be Saturday, August 24th. And you can come there for that, or you could come hang out the whole weekend. I plan to be there Friday, and then I will leave about midway through the day Sunday. So I'll even be there Sunday morning. So if you want to come by and you are actually in the area at all, please, if you're going to be at this show, first off, if you're going to be at this show, stop by, say hello, and just chat with me. I'd love to say hello. I love meeting people in real life and, talking about things and, getting to actually experience your experiences through whatever you may be working on, whatever CRT may be coming across. That's an awesome opportunity. And I'm going to make this one of those unique shows where, I've got 2 shows I do a year now. Since I've added this one, I do the one in Nashville normally, and that is around end of October, early November, the Music City Multicon, which I will be at this year. But this one has just been solidified, and I'll be excited to be there. I've been to the Retro World Expo the last couple of years and documented my experience here on the channel, so if you want to watch some videos, I do have some fun videos of that. But this one will be my first experience as a presenter there, so I'm excited. I hope you'd be there if you want. I'll make it a memorable, worthwhile CRT live in-person experience that you're guaranteed not to see anywhere else. Okay, worth the price of admission, plus all the awesome games and things you can do in the exhibit hall. Anyway, that's just the cool little pump up. Let's get into it. Let's get into this CRT. So let me see if I can pull up maybe some images of this whole deal for you. Whoops. And if I do that, I can pull up my timeline here from Twitter and show you a couple of photographs of this CRT, because really it's in pieces right now. It is in pieces, and really, if you want to know everything or get the quickest and you want to be up to date the most, the free social media that I use every day is Twitter. And then second most would be, of course, here on YouTube. But this is not something I really come on daily. This is more of a weekly experience, sometimes multiple times a week. But to get this, daily updates, find out what's really going on, we're going to go in here and go check out the Twitter timeline a little bit. Let me switch back to this other view for you. And here we go. I just want to show you a couple things. Let me, first off, let's pause the jazz for a sec. Let's get a little bit more audio because I'm going to show you these clips I put up here. First, this is, let's see. Here's the timeline. First off, let me go back a few days. There's Bob will be at Retro World. So will Tito from, I guess I haven't put it up here. So Tito from Macho Nacho will be there, and I'm sure we'll all be hanging out together. So if you want to come there, you can hang out with all three of us and maybe other people. All right, let's pull up.
Amazing looking
Let's
piece
pull
of
up
hardware.
myself here. This is there we go. This is what I'm actually working on, okay? This is the ultimate goal for this. So I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to let this clip run.
Hey everybody, what if I told you this little amazing looking piece of hardware from Sunthar? Check it out. RGB Mux Kit can unlock the true amazing potential of huge Sony KV-35V36, which has the chassis to add this SCART in. But look at this lovely kit, again from Sunthar. It's already put together with all the resistors, and looks like a diode in there, and just needs a little bit of solder work to finish up, and then you just use a connector and we'll be able to go in and add frickin' SCART and RGB to this set that only supports S-Video right now and composite natively, and of course RF. So that's what we're working on. Look at that.
Okay, so that's what I've got here is this Sunthar kit. I've got it, and I've not tried one of these yet. It's the first time, but I did. This is the one we're working on, and before we get to that, we're going to look at the CRT itself. I need to get it up to a presentable place because it does work. Obviously, you just saw the little clip I showed it. That was composite video. Let me show you another clip. This time,
so this is the back of the Sony KV-35V36, and it needs a restoration prior to get RGB mods or modified, excuse me. But one of the things I've been really enjoying about checking out this particular CRT for the first time has been kind of the attention to detail for documentation Sony had at this time in the late 90s. Check it out, like the speakers here were tagged June 1998, but even better than like that, I have an actual label over here I didn't notice earlier on the tube itself from June 8th, 1998, which is extremely cool. I've never seen that narrowed down to an exact date. So realistically, you probably could have used this information from this serial number, this production date, and this is probably like the tube type, and found this exact tube and like the information about when it was produced in Sony's data archives if they've kept up with that end of it. But that's really cool, and just a not something that I noticed Sony do on all their sets. This just must have been a really high-end set for the 1998 year.
All right, that's what we're looking at as far as the inside of that thing and the back of it. Now, CoStar asked if do I know the line count on that monstrous tube? And actually, I don't. I did not look that up yet. So if anybody wants to know or wants to look that up and put it in the chat, that would be helpful. I'll read it out if it shows up. Otherwise, I'll make sure to look that up and add that to the information for the actual episode I'll be making on this set, because I'm going to go through and do a similar episode on the restoration, and then one specifically on the RGB mod to keep them like a little bit separate. And let's go ahead now. We're going to go ahead and get started here on actually doing some work. Let me fix the desktop audio back. Background music engaged. Here we go. Carcinogen, what's up? It is a fat CRT. This is like the one CRT I've not tried to move. It's a monster, like ridiculous. It's over 200 pounds. Here we go. Let's hit this off right. So the first board I've got right here is this power board. This is that power supply. That's freaking awesome. Thanks for showing up, dude. Hope you've been well. That's awesome. Is it fire? So the red light is like a giant beam of thousands of, voltage beaming through the electron gun. Yeah, we're recapping this beast. So this is, the power supply from that huge television. This one, literally, I just pulled it straight from there. It's never been serviced. And this is just getting our wall voltage. The interesting thing here is the wall voltage comes in over here straight off our, if we're in the United States, so our normal AC wall voltage will come in here at 115 volts plus or minus AC. We do have a fuse here. The other connection points, this is just going to our degausser. We actually have 2 degausers for such a massive tube to try to keep the colors balanced. So whenever you power this set on, the first thing it does is sends a boatload of voltage through these 2 ports out to the degausser coil, which is that big, huge copper wrap around the back of the CRT tube. And that is going to give a big jolt, and actually that creates a magnetic field temporarily that balances out the purity and makes all your screen colors look good. Pretty much that's a good way to explain it. Then the rest of this stuff, we're converting voltages. Got transformers there. We got obviously some regulators to get us down to some usable voltage, which will all come out of this single port right here and go off into the monitor, because we got to have not 2 9-volt lines, some B plus voltage, a couple grounds, relay. That's pretty much it. So what I like to do, good job, Belmont. What I like to do here is go through, this is a custom cap kit, so I'm taking these caps, I've already written them down, and I've got this, I need to power it up, I've got the Hacko today. This is a Hacko FR301, and what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to remove these capacitors one at a time here. Now I am grounded, I have a tray over here to collect my capacitors. What else do I need to tell you? I've gone ahead and recorded all the values ahead of time to save a little bit. Yeah, I actually haven't studied this particular board as far as just pulling it. I literally just pulled it from the set there. Now, hang on one second. It just caused that thing to lock up. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. And so this one, wow, it looks like this one's been a little bit serviced before. Maybe. There's one of these capacitors does have some flux right there, flux fluid. Twerk? Only thing I can do is twerk that for you. How about that? I'll twerk the hot end of that desoldering tool. You can get to save that for the Patreon account, okay? Actually, the person who owns this CRT is going to be at the Retro World Expo. So you'll actually get to see this live CRT most likely somehow if you really want to. that's a possibility at the show. I won't be bringing it inside, I doubt. But, hey, you never know. If enough people show up to help me move it. C643 is a big one. 160 volt 220. There you go. Nishikon. These look crusty. Look at those nasty poles right there. Right there. A negative pole definitely has some stuff. Let me give it this. It stinks. Oh. Yeah, it's not good. That's another way you can tell, right? Just smell it. All right. One down. These don't have a lot of capacitors or anything, but this old stuff, these are good capacitors, but it's not anything that's high rated as far as the temperature rating. That's all sitting around that 85 degree rating. There we go. 6010, that's 653. And if you want to, after I pull these caps, I'll keep them in this lovely Tupperware tray. This is like a Napoleon Dynamite Tupperware tray I found in my grandma's stash of old items that didn't get tossed out from her estate. I cleaned it up. I love it. It's awesome for doing these recaps. They just don't make them like they used to. CRTs or Tupperware. But what I'll do is I'll hook up a meter and we'll check out the quality of these caps after I pull them all. Because I'm not putting them back in. They're junk. Either way, I'm getting paid to remove them, replace them, and then install that awesome RGB kit. 642. This one looks like it's the one that was replaced. Because I see the evidence. You know, growing up, I always wanted to be kind of... sorry to chat your ear off. But I always wanted to be kind of a detective of some sorts. And I guess this is as close as I'll get to that detective work. Look at this. Isn't that odd? What is that? And that's investigating these old CRTs to try to figure out what's wrong with them, how to fix them, etc. What happened to them in their past lives, and how we can clean them up, get them great futures. That's my investigative work. So I guess my dreams did come true. So this thing, I don't know why there's green there. That's either put there by somebody. I doubt it leaked out of this capacitor. Let's see. Shall we? Doesn't smell as bad as the other one. So I don't know that that's gonna do it. Let's bust out another one here. Now, what you'll notice, sometimes your CRT will work fine. And I've seen this especially in like BVMs and higher quality CRTs. You won't appear to have any problems, but a lot of times there will be issues with filter capacitors in your power supply unit, which is this unit. And a CRT could still operate and function with a bad capacitor that's even leaking. That's just a little guy. Ah, man, the camera. Sorry, everybody. Camera froze. Can't believe I'm having this trouble. I must have put it in the wrong... I'm about to go move it to a different USB spot. Shouldn't be doing all that. All right, there we go. Come on now. Hang in there. Hang in there, camera. I'm not even touching you. Yeah, I'm getting some interference here. Guys, I'm going to go switch that camera around. Hang on a second. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Let's try a different one. Let's try a different one. And I'll need to configure that video for you. I'm going to roll that around and we're going to get back to work here. There we go. Welcome back. Welcome back, camera. So, get a little light. There we go. And I'm going to try not to touch this thing because it's been awfully uncooperative. Well, maybe that's that USB was the only problem. All right, let's continue on. I'm thinking this. Oh, there it is. Let's do it again. Let me cut the music off. Make sure that's not screwing up anything. Let's kill that music. All right, we're gonna try to keep this running. Hopefully, this ship doesn't sink before I get this undone. All right, here we go. We've got a few more capacitors here. I'm thinking this one's going to be bad. It's pretty high on the capacitance. 20. Let's see. What do you think? Think it's going to be bad? So we're going to you see how that just melts? Suck that up. See? The secret to using this tool is to not actually touch the board if you don't have to. You just try to heat the legs of this capacitor up to make the solder liquefied enough, and then swiftly suck it out. This one stinks, I'll tell you that much. You can see you got a little residue there left behind. Little left behind there. See what the next one does. Now, if you really wanted to make the recapping process simpler on yourself, you could go through and reflow some fresh solder, reflow some solder on these before pulling the caps. Now, these are very small caps, and the small caps don't usually leak. More often than not, they will dry out, and you don't actually get leakage. You just don't get anything. They just dry up and stop working. And they stop holding that energy. A lot of little things here. Probably filtering the voltage coming off this IC. What is this? This is like 5 volts, right? This is just a regular 7805 here, so you're getting 5 volts coming off, somewhere between 5 and 9 volts, right? Isn't that what it is? So this could be using different voltage. It's just marked on the board as 9 voltage. 9 voltage. DC 9 voltage. The only background effect you may hear now is Cole the pug sleeping and snoring. Here we go. That's right, Dr. Claw. Welcome in. We're having fun. We're removing capacitors first, and then that's the... Oh, man, see, there's not a lot of capacitors in this one. We're going to pull these big two also if I can. May have to use a different method. Maybe not. Yeah. I don't want to mess up the tip on my Hacko FR301. Instead, I'll try to do it another way. Went another way? Should we try another way? This way is going to be a little bit trickier. I might flow a bunch of solder on them and just slowly pull it out. Okay. I'm going to set that up a little bit so I can get my hand under there. Flood this up. Let's see if I can. Okay, we'll get that one. We're going to heat up the second side. And the reason I'm wiggling those legs is I want to make sure I'm getting all the way down there. Getting fresh solder flowed all the way down to the entire leg of that. And maybe we'll try this method first. Let's try, see if we can use some just solder wick and suck that all up. Got a good portion of it there. Didn't get all of it. It's very hard to get it all. I'm going to relieve some of the pressure. Slide that guy down a little bit, like that. Just take some finagling here. Now I'm hitting the other side. Look at that. Just suck it up. Like a vacuum. Excellent. Oh. Now I'm slowly pulling that back on that one, and I'm letting it go, and then I'll heat up this leg, back it out, and then kind of go back and forth. Hopefully I'll be able to get it to just drop free eventually without damaging anything. There we go. Let's get this guy out. There we go. See? Just like that. Just like that. And then we can just clean these legs off. That's all just excess solder. Oh, yeah. Good thing. Hey, try Optimum. You had some trouble with your BVM. Did you try, you say you try reseating the boards and an overload? Did you try to reseat them again? Did you do that twice? You got to make sure you make them have good seating. If it's not restarting, then unfortunately there is something that's shorted in there, most likely, and it's protecting itself from damaging other components. Oops, I forgot to turn that off. So the BVM's protecting itself from further damage. Try it one more time. Make sure it's all really good, seated solidly, and if you don't get a power cycle, like I said, the best way to figure out what's going on is to have a good working version of that monitor with good boards that you can just swap in and out with your boards until you find the exact board where the fault is, and then that helps you wire down what you need to be troubleshooting on that board to get repaired. It could be any little transistor, resistor, something popped, fuse, I don't know. Okay, we got that big one out. See? Clean, get out of jail. Let's see if I can. That solder cleaned up a little on those legs. It takes a lot of solder to really get those off. Look at that. It's a ton of solder. It's just an unreal amount of solder. All right, there's this guy. Got one more to remove, another big one. And then I can really like clean this board up, put new caps in, reflow solder on everything else on this board, and it'll be done and move on to the next one. But, I mean, what if we did this a different way? Let's try a different way and see if it helps at all. This time I'm going to reflow solder first on this big capacitor. Put a lot of solder on that. Let's get it nice and hot. Well, this EF lover was asking my temperature on my iron, and for this hot work, I'm running 780 on my Celsius on my temperature reading. So it's definitely hot enough to damage certain stuff. But this is a power supply, or not Celsius. I'm sorry, that's not Celsius. That's Fahrenheit. The reason I run at that temperature, which would be right around 400 C on this one, a little bit over that, is because it's very thick board. It's single layer, it's single sided. It's power supply, so everything's thicker and so it needs more heat to kind of get out of there. Hey Jake, thanks for another super chat. It says my 34 HS510 has horizontal purple smearing to the right side. High contrast texture sprites. If you're having like purplish smearing, it's not going to be a deflection issue at all. I mean, there's a possibility there's a power supply problem, but like I said, power supplies aren't going to be like that direct. If you think it's I mean, I'd lean more towards the color board, the neck board, or the actual yoke, as far as not being set properly or something like that. Maybe trying have you gotten the bigger... Dog's snoring his butt off. Have you gotten the bigger or any kind of degaussing coil and tried that at all? So if you have not, you would need to get a degaussing coil, the big one. But I bet you've gotten one, haven't you? Have we talked about this before, Jake? It could be that. That's what I mean. You're right to think that that's a possibility. It's not very common that is the case, but of course you're also talking about a consumer set. So like I say, the quality level is not what we're used to on things like the professional video monitors. So that means you're getting a step down in quality on like every possible place to try to save money. Almost got this guy out. There we go. No harm. Another big fat capacitor out of there. Now throw that in the tray here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut my mouth for a little bit. Let you guys do some ASMR style love here. And I'm gonna reflow solder for you lovely folks on this entire board, because the process you do these, there's not an exact a science to the exact, like you don't have to do these in a certain method, certain way. All right, Jake, when you do the degaussing one, does it look like it's making a difference temporarily and then it just goes back? The other thing would be possibly yeah, I'm about to kick the jazz. Oh, what are you doing? What did I just do? It must be hitting a wire or something. That. Let's get some music back here so we can so things can get back into their proper order here. All right. And then we will reflow solder. I'll be quiet. Stop it. Will you stop it, camera? I'm afraid to touch it because I think it's going to take a crap. It's obviously having a connection issue with my cabling today. We're going to reflow this whole bad boy. Because nobody wants to listen to Cole snore. I have to listen to that every day, all night. It's terrible. Hey, EF lover. I don't use so this is flux core solder. So it actually is releasing flux as it goes and as I use it. And so I don't have to actually add extra flux. I could just go through and do this. Now, you will hear a buzz. A buff, probably from the camera. Oh, but maybe I could turn down my microphone for a minute so it doesn't act all psycho. I'm afraid like my power line from my soldering iron is like touching the camera line before it actually hits the camera on, or the input on the This is a crucial step to ensuring the longevity of your device and power supply. Hey, Edward. Oh yeah, it's amazing. It's like, the consumer thing is crazy because it's a wild variation in the quality. You have really good ones and you have really, really awful ones. Just makes you appreciate those really good quality builds a whole lot more when you find them. The resistor is nasty. It's getting plenty of solder. Getting down here to the transformer. I might need to go switch that camera lens again. Her input, I mean. It's always something. So if you missed earlier, I am going to be, again, live at the Retro World Expo. That camera's driving me crazy. Oh, it's blinking right up in here. Being a bastard. We'll be live in person in lovely Hartford, Connecticut in August at the Retro World Expo. And I'm going to be giving a panel talk all about the CRT. Live in person. I will do a live shocking demonstration of power and resiliency. Resiliency, is that a word? Just resilient. Hey, conference call hell. The business world never stops. So, a little roadmap to the future here. A little slight roadmap to what's happening here and what to expect upcoming on the channel. I do have an episode coming on an FW900 full restoration, completely filmed, ready to be edited, and then I have this episode that will be done on this 35V36 KV, which is going to be a two-parter. One on the restoration, and then one finally on the RGB mod. That's a lot right there. That's 3 videos, and I got some other surprises coming after that. So we'll do 3 announcements. Well, the announcement in thirds, as far as I'm concerned, for the upcoming episodes. Yeah, the repair business is not like the real business. Yeah. Tell me about it. My wife works, and the things they have meetings over of bigger places. It's astonishing. So, has anybody out there taken the time yet to watch that Fallout series? Believe it or not, I actually did watch Fallout. I remember back in a long time ago playing the very first Fallout and thinking it was just a weirdest, creepy overhead game. Like overhead, just scary nightmare fuel when I was, I don't know, real young. Not that young, I guess. Preteen, maybe. And, I never really played much past... I played a little up to about New Vegas. Never played anything after that. But the show was really good. You know, it was... First I thought I was going to be disappointed with it. But I was actually, you know, entertained through the whole thing, so... I went in the thing having lower expectations. and I was actually surprised with how much I enjoyed the show. A lot more than I thought I was going to. Because you never can tell, you know, a lot of things you think, especially video game adaptations, you're wondering if it's going to be anything good, or is it going to be the original Mario Brothers? So I enjoyed it. Not the show, by the way. That's the movie I'm talking about. For Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers. Do you know they tried to make Arnold Schwarzenegger be Bowser for that original one with John Leguizamo and Dennis Hopper? Like, there were scripts with Arnold Schwarzenegger involved. And heck, who else? I mean, I learned all this from what Dan Larson's documentary did on it recently. Who else was in there? Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is the original Mario with Arnold Schwarzenegger. What would that have been like for an 80s movie? Oh, man. But the show's pretty good. It's on Amazon. And it's eight episodes, I think. And here's the thing too. I thought maybe, and I don't think this is really a spoiler, so I'll say it. I thought that when I was watching it originally, that it wasn't going to be multi-seasonal. Like, it was just going to be one-off. And I didn't read anything about it, so I didn't have any idea. And so basically I found out that that's not the case, I guess, right? It's set up to go longer, which is great. Good stuff. It's a good show, so why not? Hey there. If you haven't yet, please drop a like on the stream. Help us get some more folks in here. Looking good in the neighborhood. Oh, so something we'll probably do at Bob's booth. Bobby's booth. Bobby's booth of boys is what it's going to be. At the Retro World Expo. I bet. Anyway, I'm going to bring tools, and I think we're going to work on a CRT there in the booth too. Maybe the same job we're doing right now. Like recapping a smaller set, like a 27-inch. And then doing all this work and ultimately RGB modding that set, doing all of it live, so you can just come by, watch it happening, come back later on a couple hours later or the next day and check out the finished product. Yeah, Rob Cat. No kidding, right? Low expectations. Better to be pleasantly surprised than always going with an attitude of waiting to be disappointed. So nihilistic to go in just, waiting to be upset. Pessimistic. Yeah, Jack. And we're too happy here on CRT Jazzy Island to be worried. Now this is probably a doozy right here. Oh my goodness, where are we? There we are. I feel like I got too much solder down in here. Where are you? Yes, sir. Where are you? There you are. So let's clean this guy up a little bit over here. Oh, this is just being clumsy right now. I'm trying to get this in there and just got to clip that bad end off. There we go. The problem was I accidentally put solder, bridged it between the middle leg right there and the end leg on. Let's just go in there, fix it up. Like that. What's up? Formerly Roll Pat's final boss. What's up? What happened? You give up on the Pats? Yeah. Reflow and solder is the way to go on a lovely Thursday, don't you know? What the hell else have you got to do today besides what you're doing right now? Alright, so I will give you guys a tip. I don't know if somebody's talking about this or not. I can't much to monitor the chat at this second. But if you're working on a set that doesn't have a menu or has a limited menu and is mostly reliant on potentiometers or pots spinning for adjustment, sometimes check those pots out, because they're just usually variable resistors, right? So a lot of times they will wear out and go bad over time also. And in that 3230 I worked on, the last video I did was about one of the major problems in that CRT was the potentiometers on the adjustment board were bad. A lot of them. Had to replace them. And once I did, I could make good smooth adjustments. So if you're having issues with spinning those potentiometers and actually getting a good adjustment, the first thing to do is to, of course, do what we're doing today here on this board, which is recap it, reflow solder on all the points there, and then try it again. If you still have problems, change the pots. Or you can check with an ohm meter, see if the pots are actually working by just testing them when you have the board out like this. But those can cause extreme issues with screen problems if they're not maintained. I think that's all the points on this half. Actually, this mostly all of it. We're over to this side. Gosh, I don't know, actually. Someone's asking if there's a way to get rid of a password. That'd be difficult. You'd have to check the service manual. That would be my biggest advice, would be to get an actual copy of the service manual, or you might be screwed up. Unless you can figure out which chip is running the security just by looking at it. Oh, that was dumb. That's just a cable suspension. Ooh, that stinks though. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. I've worked on some Mitsubishis that were older. Man, I did a video on one a long time ago. That thing wound up being so gross, had so many bad caps in it, that had exploded and almost eaten up the board. It was like covered in a black ooze. Disgusting. A lot of these points have nothing populated in them, so I'm not refloating solder on those. Alrighty. Takes care of just about, yeah, everything. That's all the solder reflow that needs to be done. There's one little spot I want to touch up here just to make it look nicer. Welcome to the Jazz Club, everybody. The Retro Tech Jazz Club. Here we go. There we go. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Now to clean a little bit on this board. And then we can install the capacitors and clean it again. Yeah, I was waiting, final boss. Moving next week. I'm moving next week, so that's going to happen. That's a secret video, though. Don't tell anybody. Oh, way back there is my brush. Let's get this brush. Lovely, stupid camera. Come on. Stick with us. Don't give up so easy. Scott! This is Scott's TV dropping the $20 super chat. Thank you, Scott. Says, see you at the Retro World. We'll stop off at the Carnegie Club to pick up the champ so he can help us lug that sucker onto the floor. This TV's heavy, buddy. The champ. The good old champ. I wonder what happened. The champ, man. What was the champ's real name? Scott, I can't remember. Is he still alive? Oh, man, that was the best story ever. We still joke about that. Derek and a couple other guys. Hilarious. Ooh, focus, baby. Let's get some capacitors in here. All right. Here we go. Whoa! Sorry about that. Getting a capacitor kit out here. Actually, just the stock of capacitors. What do we got here? Get some low-hanging fruit done. Yeah, this one is a massively heavy set. The first one, some of these capacitors I don't stock at lower voltages, so we're going to go ahead and upgrade them. 647 is the first. What side did I start from? 648, 646, 647, right up top. Go ahead and stick her in there. Gotta make sure you're on the right polarity. Man, I'm sorry about that. The camera's still giving me trouble today. It's definitely not. I definitely got to get my USB coordinated. All right, we got C646 and 648. 646 and 648 are 25 volt 100s. Another upgraded capacitor. Here we go. Here we go. That's the right direction, right direction. Yes. Both pointed down. Yes, okay. Now the next one. Ronaldo Snipes. You didn't have to do the $5 super chat, Scott. Thank you. Ronaldo Snipes. The man, the myth, the legend. At the Carnegie Club. You used to be able to go to the Carnegie Club a couple years back. The Carnegie Club. This is no small club, right? I mean, if it's named Carnegie, it's got to be something. Let's see. The Carnegie Club. Of course, downtown New York, West 56th Street. Opens up at 2 p.m. The lovely Carnegie Club. Let's see what we can see here. So you used to be able to... Let's take a second to let my camera break in here. Check out the lovely Carnegie Club. So you used to go to this amazing club and you could buy the champ, Ronaldo Snipes, a drink, or tell him you would buy a drink, and his handler apparently would let him tell you stories about fighting somebody. Let's see who he fought. Let me see who he fought, right? I'm going to look it up so you can hear more about my wasted time story on Ronaldo, if I can type. So, this guy, he fought somebody famous, right? Yeah, this is the champ. Ronaldo Snipes. Did he lose to Tyson or something? Anyway, this guy was a real fighter, right? A real fighter on back in the day. Anyway, you go buy him drinks and he'd tell you about his fight career. Can't remember. Somebody out here he lost to is super famous. Larry Holmes. He's famous. Everybody heard of Larry Holmes. There you go. This is all like 80s stuff. So he's a big time boxer there in the 80s. Right? Look at that. I don't see Tyson's name on there anywhere. Tim Witherspoon. Anyway. That's the big story, was about him. So let's hope the camera's going to react back. Anyway, you could go to the Carnegie Club and meet this guy. And we had a good laugh about Scott getting stuck with a huge bill from him drinking Johnny Walker all night. Like the good Johnny Walker, too. Not that cheap stuff. Camera. Oh, camera. You work fine sometimes. Sometimes you decide it's game over. Holmes, there you go. That's it. Yeah. Man, he was undefeated up to that point. And that went TKO 11 rounds. So that was the one, right? It was the world heavyweight title. That's it. That was his world heavyweight title fight. It says the referee stopped the bout with 1 minute, 5 to go in the 11th. So that's what you could go. You could go buy the champ drinks, and him and his handler would tell you the story about that fight. And then you get stuck with the champ's bill at the end of the night, possibly. Anyway. Fun stuff. See, you hang out at Retro World, you learn all kinds of amazing stories. Get to see some cool equipment. You get to have fun. You get to hang out in Connecticut. You get to dodge bullets in Hartford, Connecticut. What's not to love? Really joking about that. Although one year I did get an Airbnb, and it was a scary situation. I was taking a shower, and the shower, there was this next to the shower, a little window that was open, and you could hear dudes making drug deals on the corner outside the window from the Airbnb. Oh, yeah. Needless to say, I only don't use Airbnb there in Hartford anymore. Couple installs there. Good camp installs. Okay, let's get this big one here. What do we got there? 250 or 25, which one? 2641, 25 volt 2200. It's 50 volt. Let's see if we can find those. Here's one. Nice Rubicon replacement. These are the, if you're going to make sure you invest in good capacitors, invest in the ones that are the higher rated, like this one is. Meaning that those are smaller capacitors. These are, this is a bigger one that you can invest in. The bigger caps. Lovely. That's that whole area. Let's see if we can hold it up to the light. Yep, that whole spot. Let's move down here. 642. We'll get all these guys. Go up a little bit. And since the power supply, I'm going to use a better capacitor here for this. 642 is a 16 volt normally. Let's go up to 25 volts. Let's do it for the champ. Ronaldo and his one night against Larry Holmes to almost win the World's Heavyweight Championship. So I will tell you, like the next show that the show I do in Nashville always has crazy, like actors will show up to that. Actors, actresses. Gosh, come on, camera, chill out for me. Actresses, like famous ones. Danny Trejo was there last year. And this year, and always wrestlers, old school wrestlers. This year they got Jake the Snake Roberts. I'm super excited to see that. Super excited to see Jake in the green room hanging out. Maybe I can talk to him about DDP yoga a little bit. I'm going to go hit 641 next. Not 641, 661. It's hard to see those little numbers. That's when you can tell you're becoming old. Yeah, so Jake the Snake, we'll see what he'll talk about, man. Cause that guy, he had a tough life, and probably shouldn't be alive. still, I was trying to explain to my son the terrifying man that Jake the Snake was back in the day, right after he sicked a cobra on television and made it bite the Macho Man right in the arm. And so I was trying, like, oh yeah, I can show you this on YouTube. Well, stupid YouTube has censored it. They have removed it, so it's like censored. Every clip I could find of it was censored. And so it took a lot away from the shock value. Because the snake really bites him live when it's happening. And like holds onto his arm, this big huge cobra. Slimes out on the stage. You got to hear Jake the Snake's story about behind the scenes of that too. So hopefully I can get him, like he'll tell that story live in his panel. All right, this camera's driving me nuts, everybody. Let me go. I'm going to deactivate it for 1 second. Here's what I'm going to do. Because it's really giving me guff. And then I'm going to do that. And I'm going to come right back after I plug it in a different port. Okay. Let's hope this will clear that up. More like you could definitely all right, here we go. We're gonna get it. No, it's not. It's still doing it. Doggone it. I'm telling you what, man, I'm about to just retire this PC when we move. None of these things ever do what I want them to do. There's always some issue. Kids are 12 and 8, so right at that age. All right. Got a couple more down here to put in. Big one. What's that one? 653 first. Let's go for 653. 160 volts. 10 microfarads. Let's go up. Let's increase that one to 250 volt. 10 microfarad. Let's give a little bit of a power boost right there to that filter capacitor, which is going off the B plus voltage. Let's do it. Yeah, I know, right? Have more issues with the new PC. The problem is, you know what happened actually? Funny enough, I know what's happening. Windows just did an update on the computer before I did the live stream, and it wanted me to switch to Windows 11, but I wasn't going to deal with that upgrade, of course. Right now, since I said no, I'm getting all kinds of issues. And that's when the system starts messing up, is after a couple of those updates go through. See, look, it froze again. Literally, as I'm talking about it, that's got to be it. It's a bad Windows update, I think. There, it's come back. I didn't even change anything that time. It just did it on its own. And that's what happened to the system last time. I wasn't the only one who reported it. Actually, there were a couple of other log reports on Microsoft's website of people having the same issues with the equipment I'm using. Similar, like Intel, not Intel, but what's it? It's a Ryzen stuff, and they were having compatibility issues with Windows 10. Literally, I guarantee you that's what it is. All right, what's the big one? 643. 160 volt 220. Gosh, these are going to be big ones that I might not have here. 160 47. Yeah, from Vista. I don't have 250/47. What does it need to be? 250/560. What's it? 220. I don't think I have 250/220. That's an oddball figure. Oh, here we go. What's this one? We actually do have a 160-volt 220. Awesome. It's a Nishikon. Yeah, I hear you, man. Updating Windows is always such a lame experience. It's not like it used to be where you would get excited about something like that. Why is that? Man, did I really install this one upside down, or is that one just inverted? So this is where you got to watch the board. See how this one is inverted. This one capacitor right here. See how it has the polarity that way? Every other one is pointing this way. Except for this one too. It's up. See, they're all pointing down. Even the blank spots on the board. There's another one. These two are downs. It's never fun anymore when like software and everything seems to update. It's really a sad thing. You get websites that you use for years, like your bank's website, when every time they do an update, what's more frustrating than that? And you realize that they've gotten rid of some of the things you used to like to use, or search history, engine things, etc. All right. There we go. Motherboard always green. Not always, but a lot of times it is. Sometimes it'll just be this color on the other side, and it's not actually green. What's green? I mean, it is green, but it's not like, if all this was removed, all these traces right here would be copper. So they would actually be bronze copper colored. And since, shut up, camera. Oh, there you go, camera. Just go ahead and shut off. And since you don't want things to short out, you paint it with a solder mask that's green. Yeah, it's actually a paint. Gosh, this thing, man. I'm really over this stupid camera and all this Windows stuff. Let's check these two big capacitors. I don't think I have this 560 volt. The closest I have is not high enough rated, 200 560. And the ones that we removed are 250 560. This big old filter cap here. Now these generally don't go bad. They're generally good. Even though it's old. What we're gonna do is we're gonna test it. I'm also gonna check my other capacitor bin and see if I have any of these high rated. I don't think I do, but oh, I do. But look at the size difference here. Goodness gracious. That's not even the right this is the right size. It's just stumpy. This isn't the right rating, is it? 450/330, so no, that's not right. And this one is salvaged from another device because it's so hard to find these specific ones. And it's got a weird angled input. What do we got down here? Never close your eyes anymore. So we don't have any others of that here. One more thing to check. I don't think it's in here. 450, 220. No. Nope. So let's check these and test them. See what we got. I'm going to double test these things for you. Lovely folks here out in TV land. I'm going to double test them. First time it is, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to turn this camera off. I don't want the... And I'm going to use some tools that I've shown before on this channel. We'll do a quick test with the GME, which you can do these. You can use these two tools in circuit. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Final Boss. I did. I watched Death Wish 1 recently on for the first time. I watched Death Wish 1 on Laserdisc. It was awesome. That movie's brutal, crazy. All right. We're going to go in here and I'm going to change out. I've got my LCR meter here. Nathan, you probably got a busted button. That's probably all it is. If it'll power on, you need to just replace the button, or you need to get in there and engage the button permanently. That way it just cuts on when you cut your power on, but it's a button problem. And no, I don't do quotes over live streams, so that's only available. You can send me a message on Patreon if you want for a quote on something like that. All right, so I'm just checking it out here on this screen. I doubt you can see it very well. I'm going to run the test on negatives and positives here. And it says we're at 500. Hang on. Let me zoom in. So you can see that a little better. This is actually going to give me a reading, and then I'm going to check again for get a second verification and also check the ESR on it. $509, and it's supposed to be 560. So that is really, really close to being what? What if a CRT uses higher voltage? What do you mean? Some of these CRTs can use different voltages. If you put too much voltage into it, like from a different region, you'll fry the power supply and possibly other stuff. It'll short out stuff because it'll send too much. It'll send over voltage and it'll fry. Hopefully just a fuse, but you never know. Let's check the second one also. I've still got this, and then we're gonna switch over to the other meter and get a reading on it too, just to verify these are. I mean, that's a better reading than I would get off new capacitors. Here we go. 50, and let's set 507. 507 right there. There you go. It's gonna the too much voltage thing. It's gonna go into the power supply first, and it's probably gonna blow up stuff in the power supply, and the power. And then it depends if there's enough stuff to stop it in that power supply. If that voltage continues to go too high and surge throughout the rest of the monitor, yeah, it could blow out all kinds of stuff. It could blow out the flyback. Could blow out everything if it overvolted, whatever. I mean, if you're sending too much voltage out into the monitor that it's not calling for, what you can do is you can isolate a lot of these. So like this, right? If I wanted to test this power supply after replacing everything on it, you could inject power into it, and then if you could get it to turn itself on, which you just power on the switch, if that works. You know, other ones have a manual switch so you can usually connect them to and turn them on. And you turn the CRT on, and then you can just test this spot right here. And read the voltages coming off here. Or you could even, heck, test the voltages directly off the voltage regulators with just the ground and the other stuff. You can check all kinds of voltages directly off this board. You just have to be able to send power into it. But then you know what's coming out of the CRT and going in the rest of the monitor, if it's safe or not. All right, let's pull out the other meter and take a look at these capacitors closer. Okay, simple thing here. This one's going to just tell me my ESR. This is 560, so hopefully, what I'm hoping to get no reading. I'm hoping that this just is at the very bottom where it's green. That's what I'm hoping. Negative and positive again on the meter. And there you go. See, it's the very bottom reading. So that means it's got very, very low ohms. And it's good. Let's check the second one. I know, I just saw it flash. There it is, 0. Okay. Nice. So these are good. They're going to go back in here because those are going to be too hard to find, and those aren't the ones that are going to go bad anyway. Those large filter capacitors, I mean, they can last 50 years sometimes. And there's no point in replacing. They could last longer. 3 times long. Like, you could replace your capacitors 3 times in your deflection zone, and you'd still have good power caps on those large main filter caps usually. What's up, Samuel G? Definitely tasty flyback. That'll get you a good wake up call. All right, so let's solder those back. Before this show completely becomes unhinged. And we lose all our street cred. Here we go. Right here, you're seeing all this live. Then after this, I will clean this board. Show you the one-handed solder trick here from the CRT wizard. Yeah, baby. Solder with 2 hands, I mean. But there we go. Get this other leg tacked in. back in business. Yeah, plus or minus 20%. So think about that. It's only gone down. What? I mean, honestly, you could buy it and it could give you those readings, like that we just got on this cap. You could buy a new one and it would be intolerance if you bought a new one and it gave you those readings. Oh my gosh, is that true, Sam? Did you really clean a board with vinegar and baking soda like a science, like a volcano? That must have been fun. Let's get that down. There we go. Let that cool. Pop that other leg on there. Now see, I want to make it hard. I want to make it hard for like the next person that has to come and work on this. And what I mean by hard, I don't mean it more difficult for them to work on. I want to make it hard for them to realize that somebody's actually been in here, and them to think twice if it wanted to look like as professional as it did the day it came off the production line. To do that, I need to clean it. So it's not really a lot of tricks to this. It's literally going to be most importantly using 99% isopropyl alcohol and a couple of ESD safe brushes. Let's get that ready. Now, you can also use things like, this, right? This is a contact cleaner specialist, quick cleaning, electrical cleaner. CRC makes electrical cleaner like this. This stuff is expensive, though, man. This stuff is super expensive. It doesn't go a long way. You spray it, it evaporates quickly. And, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. So I just tend to use this. Well, this says 91. It's actually 99. I just keep that bottle because it's smaller, and I just refill it. And then use an old beach towel. And this is about the cheapest brush kit I could find on Amazon. Just an ESD safe brushes. I've added a couple of brushes in here. This is the important one. Right here, this junky toothbrush. You could use a toothbrush also if you had one. I wonder if I can get this in here. I'm gonna lose my only other camera, right? So what I'm gonna do is just whoop. We'll get in here and clean this thing up. Not just look at my shirt, right? Come on, baby. I'm gonna mess the camera a little bit. Gotta love live TV, right? All right, so let's just get in here and clean this. I'm gonna show you this. It's not like tricky. Nothing really tricky to it. We're going to just spray alcohol like that on it. Get it nice and saturated. I'm just going to brush it like a set of teeth. Now you're do that against the towel because you're going to get a bunch of flux residue on there. Turn my hat around so I can get out of my big fat head out of the light. Now watch. I want you to watch. All right, we're about done. That's really all the magic you need, probably. Got the magic touch. There we go. And I mean, I know like a lot of people are going to tell you not to do this kind of stuff, but they're all full of it, man. It's like, oh, you can use this. It's not going to hurt it. Just go around and rub that a little bit. And we're mostly there already. Right there, like that. See, we're getting there. Everything's cleaned. We're going to zoom in there in a second. Now I'm taking just this regular brush, no chemical on it. Just, it's like a wood handle, thicker brush, not in the kit. Honestly, I got this from a shoe shine kit. Get rhythm when you get the blues. Shine that shoe. So when I'm not shining circuit boards, I'm off shining those shoes, baby. And you know that white dust that everybody complains about on these boards? That little brush right there, gets rid of all of it. Okay? This, and it's safe. But you won't have that dusty brush or that dusty, filmy stuff that you find. Because this was not a clean board. It had dust on it. See it? But look how clean it looks now. Right? Like, how nice is that? Look at that. That's what you want to go for, right? Beautiful solder points. Everything nice and clean. And you can check everything out. Can you see it on the other side? Give it a second to dry out a little bit more. You also can take little... Now this does have some metal, so you don't want to use this while it's running, but while it's sitting here, you can get in between these hard-to-reach areas. Brush in there. I also like to make sure none of these board components are shorted out against each other, because that can happen when you're exchanging parts and working on boards. The board legs of two parts can touch like this. And then if you turn it on, they're going to be shorted. And a lot of times, Sony will design a board where if that happens and it's two parts, it's not going to make a difference. But you don't want to just leave it. If it does make a difference, they try to put protection there sometimes. But even in that case, again, don't want it to happen. Don't want to short circuit anything. Transformers are good. Everything's good. All right. And like this power supply, look at this. This power supply right here. There's a possibility. No, I wouldn't go by it completely, but it does actually say down here in this corner 125/250 volts. No, it's probably not going to show up there very well for legibly, right there. So there's a possibility this set could naturally hold 250 volts and handle that through this power supply. It's just if this power supply can handle it and spit out the proper voltage, then it's probably okay. I wouldn't dare tell you to do that for sure without knowing, but it's a possibility. Okay, so this is what I consider kind of the finished board there. Let me zoom into my face a little closer for everybody, because I'm sure that's what you want to see now, right? Woo! It's like a switch, you know? Isn't that what old Sly Stallone said? Over the top. Man, back when like arm wrestling and truck driving was like cool. I mean, could you imagine if they came out with this? I don't even want to give them the idea. They'll probably remake it. Remake Roadhouse. Remake everything. What a stupid idea. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've had a wonderful time hanging out with you today. That's going to conclude this episode of today's Bunker Show. I'm sorry I only got to do one board, the G board. But, you know, there's a good possibility I could come back and stream some tomorrow. We can work on these other boards. They're right here. I've got a weird neck-ish board called the WA board, which controls velocity modulation, your favorite CRT feature, and extended convergence controls. So that has some capacitors on it. So does the neck board. And these are going to get both completely reflowed with solder. And then we'll bring down the main board. Oh, yeah, I don't know. All right. Sorry, I was reading something. Anyway, hey, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Hope to see you tomorrow. If not, I'll see you next week, I promise. And we'll... Pizza with pick. What is going on here? All right, guys, I'm not sure where the chat is at. Pizza with pickles. That's all I see. Thanks again for joining me today, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you next time in the venture into the bunker. Jake, you win. Thank you for being here the whole time. See you guys.